Okay, so today we are reacting to some more scary videos. You know who do I want to react today? Wait, let me show you. Scary. Yeah, this one. It was just uploaded a month ago. And it has 1.9 million views by Bizarre Bob. Also, I am not yet subscribed to him. Let me subscribe to him real quick.
In the following video, a mother named Aaliyah is
Wait, have we reacted to this before? Yep, we have reacted to this before. First, let me subscribe to this one. And then let's go here.
On November 14 of 2025, a small family rents out an Airbnb for a few days, unaware that they would encounter something very unsettling while staying there. They had booked the place in advance for an upcoming wedding that was out of town, so staying here made sense. But one night, after coming back from walking their dog, this happens.
We were just out walking my dog, and when we came in, we heard...
Yeah. What do you hear? Wait. Did I miss something? I see the bed curtains upstairs. It could just be air, not necessarily something supernatural. Don't my dog, she does this a lot. I only went there because last time we figured it was the window. It was the window. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the window is open. Balloons started moving. What do you mean balloons started moving? Balloons do move. There is nothing scary with that. That is just basic balloon behavior. Okay. Let's see if there actually is something scary there. Wait, what just happened? What just happened? What is that?
Grinch!
Somehow, the leash on her dog's collar suddenly jolts up in a quick motion before wrapping itself around her dog. It just flings up as if someone had chucked it upwards. But
this dog got the survival instincts of its room. Or what if it was just a fishing hook and that is the main reason that it did not get startled? Because if something like that happened to a dog, it would be absolutely freaking out by now.
clearly, no one is seen on the stairs to have done that, which is very odd considering that just moments ago this was heard. Now Sydney, who recorded this video, was just as baffled as the Airbnb host who received this video from her. But this wouldn't be the only video she sends, because the next day, while placing the leash on the stairs to see if it would jump again, this is captured.
Okay, so this is the leash.
Yeah. What about it? It starts dancing like a snake? Okay. Ooh. Nothing happens.
There she goes again. I don't think the leash is gonna move, but she's definitely sensing something.
She isn't sensing anything. Dogs just like to sniff around it.
every single day.
Although the leash doesn't move this time, her dog goes ahead and does this. For some
Yeah, because maybe it thought you were gonna take it for a walk. And then you didn't.
reason, it's at the same time the leash is on the steps that her dog begins to search for something. But like before, nothing
Okay.
appears to be there. Sydney even checks the rug to see if anything on or under it was making her dog behave this way. But still,
Okay.
nothing. However, there's something in this video that's worth pointing out, and it's a
Yeah.
detail that appears in other videos that
What
Sydney
detail?
recorded of her dog. Watch closely.
So I wanted to show you guys some footage of my dog with these stairs. So here's another clip that I got of her doing it, walk over and see her. And she was
Okay.
so locked into this.
Now, if you didn't notice, in each video, Sydney's dog is always around a certain area of the stairs.
Yeah,
It's
I
always the
know.
middle or lower half of the steps, but never the top. If it wasn't for this detail, Sydney would not have realized this.
What?
So I think I figured out why my dog
Come on.
just is always hanging
Can I say that this
out right here. So I just found a door back here.
Okay.
So I don't think that it's what's on the stairs. I tried to check, but the door is locked. Obviously, it's an Airbnb, so they lock a lot of the doors up. Yeah, I don't think that it's what's on the stairs like
Okay.
what I initially thought. I think it's what's below.
below?
Considering that the space is on the ground, it explains why
Oh
her
no, what could
dog
it
is never
be?
seen on top. She seems to be sensing something that's in this room. But the
Come on, there was nothing even scary.
question is, what exactly is she sensing?
I'm scared
Wanting to
with
find
it.
out, Sydney and her sister probe around the space to see what it might be that's inside. But during this moment, while recording, they capture this.
They capture
This
what?
is the switch. You guys can see the light is on right there.
Okay.
I wonder if
Wait, did I miss something? What am I looking at exactly?
I wonder if
Why did you need to do that?
Just maybe there's someone right behind the door.
Just there's someone right behind the door. I don't think there is anyone behind the door. What happened?
Almost immediately
don't think
after
anything
Sydney
happened.
pulls out her phone, the doorknob suddenly turns. Although no one was seen on the other side, the door handle moves as if held from the other end.
Can I say something? If they had actually, let's say the owner actually had locked the door, I don't think there is a reason for them to keep the lights on of a room that has its doors locked. So there's a very good chance at this stage. Because just let's say that you have a door locked, you have that locked room. Why would you have the need to keep the lights on of that room? And it's not even like it's an important room, it's just a storeroom. I don't think there is any reason to keep the lights on of the storeroom when you are not using it and the door is locked from the outside.
Now Sydney was under the impression
make
that a
sense.
person had turned the knob, so they reach out to the Airbnb host and ask if anyone else is renting the place.
Sent the video to the
Okay.
landlord of the Airbnb.
and hold on, let me turn
Asking, like, hey, is there someone else renting it out as well as us or what? Because basically he was like, no, you guys are the only ones that are in the Airbnb right now, like booked out for the week.
After finding out that no one else is inside, Sydney concludes that what happened that night wasn't a case of someone co-renting the house, but rather another paranormal occurrence.
Oh, I don't think. I
To
think
her,
I think
this
it's
is much
very unfair, but
preferable
this
over having a
looks
stranger
very
inside the
strange.
house. But despite being at ease now, knowing that it's not a person, the doorknob incident still baffles her.
Like
This
if
is so
this, like if this actually happened to you, you have my sympathies, but I don't
especially
think
given that it still moves now and then.
Oh yeah. Okay, if I were a ghost, I'm pretty sure I would do like better things than just moving over and just haunt the entire house, just like break glasses or like turn lights on and off instead of just doing something that which could be missed that easily.
Feel it?
Feel what?
Scary. Okay.
Wasn't she the only one? Where did this other person come from?
Okay, every time we've knocked before,
Yeah,
this doorknob would turn a little bit.
come on. No. No. What? You gonna? Yep. We were trying. Yeah. You know what's the most stupidest thing? If an actual guest was actually freaking out like that and the homeowner was also not sure, they would just have had come and checked the room once just to reassure themselves and also the staying guest that there was nothing wrong with it. You know? This just seems kind of stupid. No, I mean it. I actually mean it. Because, like, why would this be like that? Make it make sense? This doesn't make any sense. You know? Like, let's say I am the owner, and if someone told me that something like that was happening, then I would just go ahead and open the door just in case to make sure that there actually is no one. And plus, it would also like reinstall a sense of security to the tenant. That yeah, that place is not haunted and they are safe there. No, instead of being in this awkward position. It just seems very staged, you know? I'm sorry, this is just like really staged. It's just giving off the vibe that this is staged. But then the ghost takes a selfie. Am I going to get jump scared? Please don't jump scare me. This part right here, wait for it. Okay, I'm waiting for it. What? Let me guess, someone's face shows up. Can I say that this looks very staged? What on earth? Airbnb host comes over next day to open the basement and get his phone. You should have done this 10 years ago. What do you mean? They are just coming out now? Wow, just how convenient. Why have they not had done this before?
As it turns out, this room was actually a basement. Out of nowhere, the phone gets yanked inside before tumbling down the
Of course,
steps
it's a
and landing
basement.
on its face. But it's before it tumbles that something weird happens. If you
I
didn't
saw
notice,
it,
the
I
phone
saw.
moves on its own again before falling down. But of course, the strangest part is when the phone somehow lifts itself. Neither
It did not lift itself. It happened because it's
Sydney
staged.
nor the Airbnb host could explain this. It just rises up before falling back with no footsteps around to suggest that someone was there. It's
Okay.
no wonder why many see this as being paranormal. To Sydney and her sister, that's
I
exactly
see
the
it as
case.
being staged.
Whatever
as
had been
they-
inside did not seem to like their intrusion. From the leash moving on its own to the phone being
My
pulled
God.
inside, it currently remains unknown as to what exactly occurred here. But as with all videos, you be the
Okay.
judge on whether or not something supernatural took place.
No.
As always, let me know
No,
your thoughts
it
on
did
this
not take
one.
place. This is staged. This is very easily staged. Number 5.
Now, the following video was recorded by a grandmother who lives alone with her dog and 2 cats. However, it appears that her pets aren't the only ones keeping her company, because according to her, there's something in her house that won't leave her alone.
Okay, so you have probably been staying here for so long and just now you notice that.
В зеркале было отражение.
What language even is that? Okay, let me just read the caption. There was a reflection in the mirror of something not very incomprehensible.
Чего-то не очень непонятно. На видео. Я вам всем докажу. Я вам...
According to Polina, last night she recorded a video of something that appeared in her bedroom. It showed up in the same spot where it often appears, around the mirror. She's been trying to get it on camera as her family believes it's nothing. They believe it's her old age that's making her see things. But after watching this video, they're not so sure now if that's the case. Take a look.
I don't see anything.
Уходи отсюда.
Get out of here. I'm not afraid of you. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out. She seems very afraid to me.
Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи отсюда. Уходи из моего дома.
Come on, whoever's grandma it is, just take her to your house. Where are we keeping?
Уходи.
Alone in a haunted house. Unless it's for the skate.
Я тебя не боюсь.
What am I watching? I don't see anything. Just throw the mirror out of the house.
Уходи отсюда. Уходи отсюда.
Oh my.
Я тебя не боюсь.
Is it Russian? I'm pretty sure it's Russian.
Я тебя не боюсь.
What is one? Is it Russian? I think it's Russian. At least it seems Russian to me. I'm not too sure though.
Уходи. Уходи, я сказала. Уходи отсюда.
Go away. I said get out of here. Go away. I'm not afraid of you. Okay. Good for you.
Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь.
After Polina realizes that what she'd seen wasn't there, she catches sight of this, a dangling ornament beneath the lamp, moving on its own. However, it wasn't just swaying back and forth as one would expect, it was curving upwards in
Yeah.
a
That's a bit difficult to do with fishing rod, but I think it could also be a
strange
fishing
manner that neither a draft or wind current could cause. Now, whatever happened that night is something that remains uncertain.
This could
In
be
either
good.
case,
This could
whether
indeed be-
paranormal or not, just seeing this out of nowhere is unsettling. But one night, Polina decides to record again because apparently she saw the same figure hiding inside her fireplace.
inside the fireplace. Really? I think it's.
Take a look.
Come on. Wait, I did not see it. What was that? It's too dark. You won't be able to see it. Of course, you are going to see mistake something for some other things. In the dark, you can never see things that clearly. No.
Like something out of a nightmare, what looks like a head suddenly appears in the fireplace. And the freakiest part is that it shows itself right when Polina starts to get close. It's as if
yeah.
whatever this was had realized she was approaching. Understandably, she was freaked out by this, but more so after
I'll be freaked out by this too.
going back to the space and seeing the fireplace completely empty now. Like before, what she saw initially is now gone. Now currently, no new videos have been shared by Polina, whether supernatural
Oh, no.
or something else. These 2 clips are without a doubt pretty terrifying.
Yeah, they are. If something like that would happen to me, I would be out of here within a minute. Not even within a minute. I would just leave everything, just maybe possibly just keep the phone which was already in my hand and just rush out of the house. Because I ain't risking it.
I learned that ChatGPT works best with detailed prompts, but but I hate typing them. So instead, I dictate them using Whisperflow while walking. When I'm walking, my brain just...
Wait. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna comment on that.
Now the following video comes from a young mother named
That's a kid.
Akina, and ever since having her first child, she's been posting numerous videos of her baby boy. It's her first child, so it makes sense that she would want to capture every moment involving her son Ponko. From the time he was born to the moment he got his first playpen, Akina has been sharing lots of memories involving Ponko on her page. However, not every moment has been shared online, and for good reason. On January 29th of 2024, at around 2:30 in the morning, Akina was dead asleep when she suddenly woke up to something in her bedroom. Thankfully, little Ponko was
Finally, smart parents. I will never understand how people in the West just keep their kids in a totally separate room. I mean it 100%. Like, that's like newborn, and you just totally keep them in a different room with just an installed camera and just like go about it then.
aware of what was happening because during this moment, something pretty frightening happened. The following
what
is
happened?
what was caught. Take a look.
What happened? Could be the wind, maybe they had not locked it properly. Doors just sometimes just work like that, you know. They just sometimes close like that when how they put it, those are not that tight, those are somewhat loose. That just happens. It's not that supernatural or that difficult to be, or it could have also. Yeah, you know. What's that? Okay. Yeah. Last flickering? Did I see the last flickering? I think I did. Where did she go? She just left the room altogether. What just happened? Close the door at least. What are we doing? Why did she come in screaming? What just happened? What is that? What is that thing moving? What is that thing here? Right there, you know, you say it. What's going on with the lights?
It's no wonder why Akina didn't want to share this video initially. Now, besides the fact that the door opens and closes all by itself, there's something Akina mentions that makes this whole video even more terrifying. According to her, at this moment, she had seen a figure standing at the doorway which looked a lot like her husband. But the weird part about this is that her husband had not come home from work yet. It was only a few hours before he came back. But strangely, to Akina, he was there, just staring at her from a distance. Now clearly, no one is there. However,
maybe she just
if
she just woke up.
If you listen closely to the audio, you can hear Akina's security alarm going off as though someone entered the house. It's for this reason she leaves the room to turn it off and to chase her husband, who was walking away at this point. But it's from this moment that things start to get creepier, because not long after, Akina acts strange. From standing motionless at the door to quickly coming in and sitting down in a rigid manner, it's almost as if Akina was someone else.
Or maybe it was scripted. That is why it happened like that, and maybe she's just bad at acting. Could be, I don't know. But could also be.
But as it turns out, she was just scared. Because after heading downstairs to see where her husband had gone, she saw that all the lights were still off and the door still locked. Her husband, as it seems, was not home yet. Freaked out,
Why did she have to stand there that long still? I still don't get it.
she heads back up and sits down while trying to figure out what just happened. If he wasn't home, then who was? She continues to replay this moment in her head despite occurring a while ago, but until it's figured out what happened, she'll continue to keep this video up on her page while sharing more videos of her son. For now, this occurrence
that
remains
makes
a
sense.
mystery. In this next video, a mother had recently shared a clip that freaked her out after noticing what was in it. One day,
what
while
was in
looking
it?
at her security cameras, Adrian Dakota notices something inside her living room, but more specifically, around her child's playpen. She wasn't sure as to what she was seeing,
Playpen?
so she zooms in and replays the video to check. It goes without saying, but what she saw continues to keep her up at night. Now, it's
What
important
did-
to note that before this incident, Adrian had already been documenting strange things around her house, and for
Okay.
some reason, these occurrences had something to do with her children's toys.
Toy going off again. I thought these are just there's just something to that. I don't think that this means it.
Now, it might be easy to write this off as being just a glitch or a toy that's
Yeah.
starting to malfunction, but
Yeah.
what's strange is that this was happening day after day, one toy turning on after another. And that's without mentioning that during this time, Adrian's daughter had an imaginary friend who she said was very tall. Now, keep this imaginary friend in mind because this detail becomes important much later in the video she recently posted.
Okay.
The reason why she was so freaked out by the toys turning on was because
Okay.
prior to this, her daughter kept mentioning this imaginary friend. And apparently, this
Come on,
so-called
kids do
friend
that.
would show up in places where her daughter said it was, usually inside the house, near the toys.
Okay,
Adrian
because
was so
she
frightened by
spent
this,
most of
but
the time in front with toys. That's why she said probably things that are imaginary friends. It was also
more so
near
by
them.
this video, because according to her, while taking care of her second child in another room, something
Okay.
terrifying appears in her living room.
Whatever.
This is what she caught.
Okay, let me say it. What did she got? What is that? Is that a dog? That's just a cat! What do you mean? That's a cat! It looks startled!
To Adrian, it appears that someone or something peeks out from
That's
behind
a cat! Are you serious right now? Come on! That's just a cat! See? It just got up from there and it's looking around confused where that sound came from. Come on! If I was a ghost, I wouldn't be looking left and right if I was the one who actually did that. See, it's caught up in the snowstorm here. It looks like a cat.
To Adrian,
That's
it appears
the
that
cat.
someone
Come on,
or
just
something peeks
go
out from
for it.
behind her baby's playpen. Thankfully, her child wasn't in there during this moment. But
That's the
strangely,
cat.
even though no
Ain't
baby was
no way.
occupying it,
Okay, first and foremost, the dog would have had already realized if there was something like that there.
the figure
The fact that it did not priorly move or react in any way proves that it was just a cat, something they were already very familiar with, and not something else like a haunted spirit or
itself
something
looks
like
like one. Whether it's just pareidolia or not, it's obvious that something is there.
Okay, what's
Considering
there?
that a bowl just fell off the shelf with no apparent cause, Adrian can't help but wonder if whatever this was had been responsible for the other occurrences before. It is strange how each occurrence involves one of her children's things. Whether it's their toys or their small play enclosure, something unexplainable happens around them. This, of course, brings up the question, could this have been the supposed imaginary friend her daughter had previously
No,
mentioned?
that's a cat.
Or
That's not an
might this be
imaginary
something else
friend.
entirely?
That's a cat, and that is very real.
Currently, and unfortunately, there is yet to be a definitive answer
That was a cat. That is not even creepy. And that is not even the creepy part. The creepy part is, that is not even the real creepy part. The actual creepy part is this. That ball just falling off, see? Why on earth did that ball just fall off of the shelf? See? It fell off like that because it's a fishing hook. See, first it got a small tug. See? First it was slightly pulled and it did not fall. Yeah, see? And then it fell. That's scripted. That's a fishing hook. That's a fishing hook.
Thankfully, her child wasn't here itself looks like one. Whether it's just pareidolia or not, it's obvious that something is there. Considering that a bowl just fell off the shelf with no apparent cause, Adrian can't help but wonder if whatever this was had been responsible for the other occurrences before.
No.
It is strange how each occurrence involves one of her children's things. Whether it's their toys or their small play enclosure, something unexplainable happens around
Come
them.
on.
This, of course, brings up the question, could this have been the
fishing hook that pulled the ball, and those toys are just
supposed imaginary friend her daughter had previously mentioned?
Or maybe they just did it like that.
Or might this be something else entirely? Currently, and unfortunately, there has yet to be a definitive answer to this question.
Because there is no question. Okay, let's continue. Number 2.
Now the following video was submitted to me by Ariane B, who writes that she took this video during a school field trip to the Philippines. It was
a school field trip to Philippines.
2010 when she recorded this, so understand.
It was in 2010 and just now decided to,
understandably, the quality isn't that good.
But yeah, of course, all of the creepy things happen when the quality
being filmed on a cheap cell phone, she was able to capture something pretty noticeable on camera. And of course, what she notices is pretty creepy. According to her, she was taking a tour of an old fortress where many soldiers had lost their lives. This fortress is known as Fort Mills, and the section of this fort that Ariane was touring is known as Battery Grubs, a section where both Filipino and American soldiers had sacrificed their lives while defending against invading forces in 1942. While touring Battery Grubs, Ariane captures this.
I am not familiar with the Philippine lore, by the way. Okay, I don't have a theory for that, at least not yet. No, I saw it. What even is that? I'm not sure about that.
Now it's been 15 years since this video was taken, and Ariane hadn't realized what was captured until rewatching this footage recently. On the upper level of this barrack, there appears to be something moving, but it doesn't look like a tourist who was just wandering. Rather, it looks like a moving blurb that disappears in an instant. Now of course, given the camera's low quality, this might have just been a camera artifact, or in other words, a visual glitch. But it's worth noting that this only appears once throughout the entire video. Never again do we see anything like this afterward, suggesting that maybe this wasn't the camera acting up, but instead something that was actually there. As Ariane believes, this blurb was most likely the spirit of one of the soldiers who passed away during battle here. Perhaps this is them still living out the same scenario that played out during 1942, unaware that they're no longer alive. It's a sad thought, but nevertheless, this footage creeps out Ariane. So then, just what exactly was caught on camera at this fort? If you caught something creepy on camera, or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the next compilation.
Is there anything else you all would like me to watch to or react? Anything else? Any other YouTube video that you all would like me to react to? Huh? Anything else? Any other video? Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Okay, no suggestions. Let's see what else we can find. You know what? Let's react. Let's see this. Let me just type it up. Let's see what comes up. Okay, it's other VTubers reacting to scary videos. Nah. Let's try this. Okay, let's just see. Yep, let's see this one. Top 30 scariest video games of the century so far.
Hi. No.
Welcome to Mojo Plays,
Okay.
and today we're taking another look at the scariest games of the century so far. You might have seen our 20 scariest games of the century video, but since then, we've had countless great horror titles come out. So, we're
Yep.
turning the screams up to 30.
And medicine is one of them. Yeah, mortuary assistant is pretty iconic too, to say at least. But not like as iconic as Five Nights at Freddy's. But like it also has made quite a name for itself. I'm gonna be honest, I've seen some clips here and there, but I don't actually know what's going on. From what I understand, a little bit of idea that I have, like we are an employee at an what do they say, it? Mortuary, and we are working there at night. Wait, what is that?
Number 30, The Forest.
Okay. It's
2018's The
creepy.
Forest really puts the survival in survival horror. In this creepy first-person survival game, you'll craft, explore, and engage with creepy little weirdos to make it out alive. After surviving
Okay. So Minecraft turned up to 12.
a
That's
plane
it,
crash,
right?
you'll spend the daylight hours building up your camp and fortifying your defenses, because at night you'll have to defend yourself from these same enemies. building up a strong camp is just as important as being competent in battle. The forest cleverly offers
Oh.
countless ways for you to do so. It doesn't seem that scary on the surface, but trust us when we say it can get out of hand very fast.
No, I trust you, I trust you. Just playing Minecraft is also scary for me sometimes. It's just so freaky, just like the vibe alone. And that just seems to turn up the play.
Number 29. The Suffering.
Inmate, back in your cell. Everything's under
The Suffering 2004.
control.
What do you mean back in your cell? I was already in the cell. Yep, I don't think everything is under control.
A hidden horror gem from the PS2 and original Xbox era, The Suffering is a first and third-person hybrid game where you take on the role of Torque, a death row inmate. He's been convicted of killing his ex-wife and 2 kids, but has no recollection of committing this heinous crime. The game's writing and subject matter may not have aged super well, but we can't deny that it's one of the creepiest games of that time.
Oh, what is happening to him?
The dark and claustrophobic environments will make your hairs stand on end. The terrifying Silent Hill-like enemies with blades for limbs are gruesome and hard to kill. The Max Payne-style combat is fun, and navigating around the dark, blood-stained prison is an experience we won't forget.
Okay, I've never played that game before. Oh. Yep, I can definitely see right. It could seem scary to a lot of people.
8. Fear.
Okay, even its name is Fear. I'm expecting that.
Fear First Encounter Assault Recon is a classic first-person horror shooter from the PS3 and Xbox 360 era that has spawned a handful of sequels. You play as the Point Man, one of the many clone super soldiers with enhanced abilities, dispatched to take on the paranormal threat of Alma Wade. It perfectly blends high-octane action gunplay with atmospheric horror, doing so in much better ways than more recent horror games like Resident Evil 6.
Oh, really? Better than Resident Evil 6? Now that is quite a statement, to call it better than Resident Evil 6.
Alma is an all-time horror game character. Her few and far between appearances caused us many a jump scare throughout our playthroughs.
That is quite an environment. Whoa.
Number 27. Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares? I've heard about this before. I had heard that it has an ominous environment, but it doesn't exactly look like the game that would give me nightmares.
It may not look it at first glance, since it's a traditional style 2.5D platformer, but Little Nightmares has its fair share of terrifying moments living up to its namesake. It's not the most complicated or mechanically focused game, but we can't deny its place among the horror game greats. There are a handful of moments that prey on specific types of fears and phobias, like creepy dolls and uncanny body horror. The extremely short runtime, along with its sequel, makes for a game that fans of both horror and puzzle platformers should play at least once. Number 26. The Mortuary Assistant.
Yep, I've heard about this. Wait, didn't we not just get the Mortuary Assistant? Okay, I think this was older version.
We've been blessed, or cursed depending on how you look at it, with an endless supply of indie horror games throughout the last decade. Games like The Mortuary Assistant offer just a few hours of
I won't say cursed, that's the game, that's a source of entertainment. If you don't just like it, So just don't play it. So I don't think you can call it curse.
Called it scary gameplay for great value, and are some of the best horror gaming experiences you can find.
This is all your fault. I regret every second with you.
In it, you play as Rebecca Owens, a new graduate fresh out of mortuary school. She's asked to work the night shift. As you'd expect, supernatural nonsense begins to happen as she spends the night with her cadaver companions. The game's mortuary mechanics are somewhat realistic, and like many other horror titles, its puzzle design is top-notch. Number 25, Cry of Fear.
Right. No way, a game from 2012 is scarier than Mortuary.
Cry of Fear originally started out as a Half-Life mod and has since become one of the best hidden gem horror games of the 2010s era. It's a single-player and co-op survival horror game set in an abandoned Scandinavian town where you'll have to avoid hellish creatures. It has an emphasis on cinematics, something many quality horror titles have found success with, along with a spooky atmosphere and jump scares in spades. Development on the project has unfortunately been halted, but you can still download this great horror mod for free on Steam, and we highly recommend you do so if terrifying vibes are your thing. If you're watching this video, they probably are. Number 24, Luto.
The world then.
Luto. Oh, it's new. It's new. It was just released this year, 2025.
Stretches, breaks down, and yet you keep walking.
Luto came out in July 2025, but it's already high up on many horror fans' lists. It's a slow-moving psychological horror game inspired heavily by PT, where you play as Sam, who's trying to escape from his home and face his traumatic past. The game's story is told through dark, disturbing notes, journal entries, pictures, and the ongoing narration that subverts your expectations. There's no combat, no real stakes, and no way to get a game over, but that doesn't mean the game isn't terrifying. The silent and still figures covered in white sheets are still burned into our brains. Even though the jump scares are few and far between, they're some of the most startling we've experienced in any horror game. Number
Now that is indeed scary.
23, Visage.
Oh, I've seen this gameplay of Visage, actually. Yeah, that indeed is a scary
Another game heavily inspired by PT, Visage is easily one of the scariest video games ever made, and definitely one of the most disturbing. Sharing some similarities with Luto as well, Visage will have you explore and solve puzzles as you attempt to escape the house you're trapped in. We'll spare some of its cutscenes and imagery here, since the game deals heavily in murder, but trust us when we say it's violent, disturbing, and masterfully captures the vibe of what you'd expect from a good psychological horror game.
Oh. Yeah.
Number 22, Amnesia, The Bunker.
I've heard of Amnesia. I've heard it is really good. I don't know if it's perfect, but I've heard it's good.
The fourth game in the Amnesia series, The Bunker takes the timeline back to 1916 during World War I, hence the name. You play as French soldier Henri Clément as he fights his way out of the titular bunker, all while solving puzzles and evading a new monstrous presence stalking him. It has the typical amnesia tension and puzzle solving we've all come to know and love. Just like its predecessors, it is absolutely terrifying. It'll run you anywhere between 4 to 8 hours to finish, but it's an experience that will stick with you long after you roll credits due to its quality as a game and its pedigree as part of one of the best horror franchises around. Number 21. Mouthwashing.
Oh, I've heard about it. It was indeed very much in trend. Now that is not scary, but the story behind it is.
One of the biggest indie horror standouts of last year, Mouthwashing is best enjoyed going in completely blind. Without giving too much away, the game is a sort of walking sim sci-fi horror game where its story is told in a non-linear fashion. It starts after your space freighter is sabotaged and crash lands, leaving the ship's captain in rough shape and to blame for the malfunction. Throughout its roughly 2-hour runtime, you'll explore the ship, learn about its crew, and experience the narrative, all while it builds good tension. It's super short, but its puzzles and story make it a standout indie horror title we highly recommend.
Voice is simply faster, more natural, and more flexible than typing. He said he's voice-pilled, and I can see why.
Number 20. Slender, the 8 Pages.
Oh, I've not heard about this one before. Slender, the 8 Pages.
This game helped give rise to the indie craze of the 2010s and proved that video games didn't need massive budgets to be effective. Like the Blair Witch Project and similar low-budget horror films, Slender does a lot with a little. The gameplay itself is very simple. You walk through the darkened woods, collect notes, and avoid the creepy Slender Man. But there's something inherently terrifying about hiding from threats in the dark. It activates something primal buried deep within the brain. The game's low-budget aesthetic adds an extra layer of uneasiness, like it was something pulled from the dark web. Number 19. Soma.
Be quiet! Don't look at it!
It's said done.
A lot of people were wondering what frictional games would do after the brilliant Amnesia: The Dark Descent. The answer was the similar yet totally different Soma, which concerned sentient robots in an underwater research facility. Like its predecessor, Soma primarily involved sneaking
that is a really interesting concept to say the least.
Around enemies and solving puzzles while uncovering the mystery behind your identity and precarious situation.
What's that?
It also contains a relentlessly unsettling atmosphere, a unique mixture of Amnesia, System Shock, and Bioshock all rolled into one. And when all that is combined with the disgusting body horror present throughout the game, you get an experience pulled straight from a nightmare.
Oh my god.
Number 18. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
He's down!
Hellblade is a self-proclaimed independent AAA game from British developer Ninja Theory. It follows a picked warrior named Senua in her attempt to save the soul of her dead lover from Hela. And though the story is compelling, it's Senua's psychosis that really stands out.
Okay.
चंदू के चाचा की चटनी और बहुत कुछ 10 minutes में और बिग बास्केट.
The developers consulted with neuroscientists and people suffering from psychosis in order to accurately depict the condition, and it was this aspect of the game that subsequently received the most praise. Game critics noted how Senua's psychosis lent to the game's unsettling horror, such as visions, auditory hallucinations, and even some psychological tricks, while experts praised the realistic depiction of the condition. It's scary, but in a deeply tragic and humane way.
And she will fulfill her
that actually makes sense.
Whatever the cost.
Number 17. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator.
What? That...
By 2017, interest in the Five Nights at Freddy's
That does not look like a scary game.
The series was waning. It needed an injection of creativity
That just looks
and
like a
invention,
mini game.
and Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator proved just what the doctor ordered. This game unexpectedly took the franchise into business simulation, tasking the player with managing and maintaining a fictional pizzeria.
Remember, use your company-issued taser to return the animatronic to a neutral state if you feel that it's becoming unstable or aggressive. You can only use it 3 times before it begins to damage the animatronic and decrease its value.
While doing so, you must avoid the hostile animatronics that are set loose in the establishment. It's during this section that some of your business decisions will either help or impede your progress. For example, accepting sponsorship offers will give your business more money, but will later prove detrimental when loud advertisements play on the computer. It's a wildly inventive game that horrifically blends business sim with the traditional creepiness of Five Nights at Freddy's.
For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears.
Number 16. Inside.
Yeah, okay, that is just so scary.
Inside is the second game from Playdead, who gave us the brilliant Limbo. It's something of a spiritual successor, characterized by a similar art style and 2.5D gameplay. Taking control of an unnamed boy, players explore and traverse a monochromatic dystopian world while avoiding obstacles like security machines and hunting dogs. Should the boy die, the deaths are often depicted in a surprisingly realistic manner, which lends the game an unexpected grittiness. The world itself is also deeply unsettling thanks to the art design, general lack of sound, and some incredibly nasty creatures. Seriously, the Huddle has to be one of the most disturbing things we've ever seen in a video game.
Ever seen?
Inside isn't so much scary as it is just deeply unnerving.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is terrifying. That is very terrifying. It just looks so very much terrifying. Oh my.
Number 15. Alan Wake 2.
Someone knew they were here, someone playing a game with them. An invitation. How could they not accept?
Alan Wake 2 is a horror sequel 13 years in the making. It was worth every second of patience. The game picks up where the original ended, with the titular writer Alan Wake getting trapped in the dark place. Enter FBI agent Saga Anderson, current-gen graphics, modern design sensibilities, and you have one of the best and scariest contemporary horror games.
Vanished.
The original game was scary, but the sequel dials it up to 11. Jump scares may be abundant, but they're well placed and extremely effective, and adding the FMV acting spliced into in-game cutscenes helps with immersion. If anything, make sure you play the game for the We Sing section alone. Trust us.
This does not seem very scary.
Number 14. Dead Space 2.
Whoa.
Now, if you want to talk viscerally impacting, let's talk about Dead Space 2. The Dead Space series is the medium's answer to the scary space stories of old. Space inherently makes for a terrifying setting. Not only is it seemingly beyond human comprehension, but there's literally nowhere more isolating. In short, it really gets the good old imagination going. And not in a fun way.
Okay, like, is this all imagination for this version?
Add in some Lovecraftian alien things and some truly disturbing body horror, and you have the living nightmare that is Dead Space 2. We didn't think it could get much scarier than the first game. This proved us wrong.
This is indeed quite the body horror. I would not like to face everything.
Number 13. Layers of Fear.
2016. Okay. Okay, Okay, the image on the painting is distorting.
Developed by the oddly named Bloober team, Layers of Fear is a psychological horror that takes its cues and influences from the independent horror titles of the early decade. More on that later. You play as a mentally disturbed artist who is trying to paint his masterpiece, but who keeps getting distracted by puzzles and an ever-changing mansion. Like most psychological games, Layers of Fear places most of its horror within the mind and forces us to evaluate what is and isn't real. As such, it asks us to share in the protagonist's surreal experience, even if that's something we don't necessarily want to do. The persistent jump scares and disturbing visions definitely don't help.
We're gonna get jump scared, aren't we?
Number 12, Until Dawn.
H?
What's it spelling?
Hold on.
How's this happening? Are you moving it?
I swear it's just moving.
Until Dawn is one of the PlayStation 4's most unique exclusives.
Okay.
It serves as an interactive choose-your-own-adventure style of game, as the choices you make directly impact the story and characters. The story takes its influence from a wide variety of horror styles, starting as a creepy slasher in the vein of Friday the 13th before transitioning to a more fantastical tale involving Wendigos and Native American curses.
Oh.
Of course, much of the horror derives from the nature of those stories. But the stress of keeping your characters alive and trying to make the best decisions possible also adds an element of unpredictability that helps keep the game fresh and relentlessly nerve-wracking.
If you were faking it, you were doing one hell of a job.
I wasn't faking anything.
Number 11, The Evil Within.
Oh my god. He's going to die. Just go in. What the? Alright, go back.
Being a third-person horror title directed by Shinji Mikami, The Evil Within...
Why did I actually get scared from that? Oh my god, I actually got scared from that.
was bound to be compared to the Resident Evil series. But while the latter primarily focuses on B-movie thrills like zombies, mutants, and parasites, The Evil Within is far more psychological and disturbing.
Yeah, oh my god, that actually looks terrifying. I think this looks the most terrifying till now.
Its themes were more in line with Silent Hill than Resident Evil, complete with a troubled protagonist, otherworldly locations, a general nightmarish tone, and a story so bizarre and bonkers it'll have you genuinely questioning the sobriety of its creators. And who can forget the grotesque enemies such as Quell, Laura, and everyone's favorite, the Keeper. It's deeply disturbing, but also incredibly rewarding.
What is that?
So, Society is launching its early access soon. Here's what everyone is wondering. Is...
Number 10, Condemned: Criminal Origins. Condemned is basically the video game equivalent of Seven. You play as an SCU investigator named Ethan, who must study and analyze crime scenes to catch serial killers. And much like Seven, the game's setting of Metro is visually dark, seedy, and repressive, almost as if the city is an embodiment of the violence and depravity within it. As if that's not scary enough, Ethan suffers from visual hallucinations, each episode more unbelievable and deeply unsettling than the last. The game is a hideous combination of inventive jump scares, unimaginable perversion, brutal melee combat, and surreal visuals. Condemned isn't played so much as it's lived in and experienced.
Be ready for death, Agent Thomas. It shall come visiting again.
Oh my god.
Number 9, The Last of Us Part 2. May we just say one thing. The Rat King can go right to hell. Like its predecessor, The Last of Us Part 2 involves sections made up of pitch-black hallways, distant clicks and screams, and many disgusting visuals. But it's not just the visuals that make The Last of Us
I've heard a lot about Last of Us. I really want to play this game.
Part 2 so unnerving. it's the game's general atmosphere. Unlike its predecessor, there are very few, if any, lighthearted moments to be found. It's just unending hatred and horrific violence, including the most brutal and realistic death animations we've ever seen in a video game. Uncomfortable and downright exhausting, this sequel will stick to you long after the end credits roll. Number 8. Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem.
This is the one that seeks to do combat with me.
Eternal Darkness is a definite standout within the Nintendo library. Released exclusively on the GameCube and published by Nintendo, Eternal Darkness was the esteemed publisher's attempt at going mature. And what a resounding success it was. Most of the game's scares stem from its sanity effects, a highly unique mechanic in which the game essentially trolls the player. Some examples include pretending to change TV inputs, fake deleting your save files, clearing your inventory, and disconnecting your controller. This, of course, was in addition to various character-specific and environmental effects.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, saying that my game was not saved, that would be the scariest experience of all time.
The end result is unlike anything seen in a video game before, and it greatly aids in both interactivity and immersion within the story. Sanity's Requiem will have you questioning your own.
Time is running short. Without me, you are mere flesh and bone.
एक टिक टैक मिलेगा क्या?
Tic Tac Fresh Vibe Refresh.
Where mothers nest and children learn to fly.
Number 7. Resident Evil 7: Biohazard.
The grave pull out the truth!
A lot was riding on Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 5 was considered a bit of a disappointment after the masterpiece that was 4, and 6 was, well, let's not talk about 6. Now taking cues from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Resident Evil 7 came barreling out of the gate, and it did not hold back.
Oh my goodness.
From the unnerving atmosphere of the Baker family residence, alongside disturbing boss battles and gruesome sequences we can't show here, 7 brought the scares, both psychological and visceral. There may not have been a familiar face in sight until the very end, but this game single-handedly brought the franchise back from the brink of extinction. Resident Evil 2 only solidified Capcom's miraculous redemption.
Number 6. Alien Isolation.
Attention. Please remain calm and proceed to the nearest exit.
We did it! We got an Alien game in keeping with the first movie's tone. Most Alien titles have followed in the bombast of James Cameron's Aliens, and that's fine. But a lot of the franchise's fans were clamoring for a more atmospheric and claustrophobic experience in keeping with Ridley Scott's masterpiece, and Creative Assembly delivered. There are few video games as stressful and anxiety-inducing as this, as you are persistently hunted by the titular alien and left utterly powerless to defend yourself against it. Yes, there are defensive techniques, but most of your time will be spent cowering under tables or holding your breath in a locker as the alien stomps and sniffs around outside. We didn't think our hearts could beat so fast.
Why would you walk me there?
Number 5. PT.
We may never forgive Konami for what they did to PT. If you've been living under a rock for the last 5 years, PT was a playable teaser, hence the initials,
that was
for a new Silent Hill game. This could have been the greatest horror game ever released. Not only was it being directed by Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, but the demo alone was scarier and more impactful than a lot of AAA horror games. This demo was a masterclass in horror, creating tension like nothing else and cycling through a wide variety of horror styles, each of which were well integrated and deliriously terrifying. It's a masterpiece of supernatural horror, and it will never again see the light of day.
Number 4. Fatal Frame 2: Crimson Butterfly. The first Fatal Frame was certainly scary, but Crimson Butterfly is on a whole other level. This game is quite possibly the greatest representation of J-horror within the video game medium. The gameplay largely centers around exploring an abandoned village and exorcising its ghosts and demons with your magic camera. The village has a delightfully spooky atmosphere, and the game forces you to literally confront your fears by interacting with the ghosts rather than running or hiding from them.
Oh my god.
And while all this is going on, the player's sister Mayu is overcome with some type of malicious force, making the whole thing feel deeply personal. There's simply no other ghost game like Fatal Frame 2.
I'm melting you. Together.
Number 3.
Yep, that is scary.
Outlast.
Oh boy, this one gave me nightmares. Outlast helped define the independent horror surge of the early 2010s. Developed and published by Red Barrels, this game had you playing as a journalist who travels to a seemingly abandoned insane asylum to uncover the truth about inhumane experiments. The gameplay is relatively simplistic.
That is indeed pretty scary,
as it mostly consists of walking around, running away from enemies, and hiding under beds. Most of the game's mastery lies in its execution. It preys on our intrinsic fear of the dark, of being chased and hunted, and of being helpless against an enemy who wishes to do us harm. It's amazing what Red Barrels managed to do with such limiting gameplay, and it helped revolutionize the way horror games were made throughout the decade.
Number 2. Amnesia,
it is scary.
The Dark Descent.
The legacy of Amnesia cannot be overstated. It kickstarted the independent horror craze of the early 2010s, and its gameplay mechanics and general style were heavily copied throughout the decade. The game has you control a man named Daniel as he explores a dark and foreboding castle, solves intricate puzzles, and hides from deformed and nightmarish creatures that literally cause him to go insane.
Here's how developers at Perplexity and NVIDIA are prompting AI 10 times faster. You're prompting Cursor over 100 times a day, but typing detailed context.
Never before has a game focused so heavily on sheer survival, and few have made the player feel so alone and vulnerable. You may begin questioning your own sanity by the time the credits roll, never mind Daniel's. It's a masterful example of the survival horror genre, and it remains one of the scariest games ever made.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel for occasional notification. Number 1. Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2 is at number 1 and came from 2001. Okay, let's see.
It's certainly worth debating, but Silent Hill 2 may just be the perfect horror video game. It combines essentially...
Now, perfect is really... How do I put it? Extreme word use.
Every element of horror into one nerve-wracking package, ensuring that not even the most resilient gamer can come out unaffected. There are the visceral scares inherent to otherworldly monsters, creepy abandoned towns, and the game's grimy, foggy atmosphere. From a gameplay and visual perspective, Silent Hill 2 is terrifying. But then there's the psychological aspect, including the game's metaphorical use of Pyramid Head, the Bubblehead nurses, and the horrific integration of James's wife, Mary. The game gets in your head and stays there, forcing you to contemplate and confront its numerous horrors, both real and allegorical. It's a stunningly effective piece of horror.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to...
Yeah. Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you all for sticking around. And I'll be live tomorrow around the same time. Alright? Hoping to see you all tomorrow. Okay, so that's it for today. Goodbye you all. Take care. Let's meet again tomorrow.